Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth. Today we are doing the Beguiled Eden to Armageddon series, volume 1, because the other channel is banned right now. If you guys enjoy this book, please think about subscribing to the other channel. I will be able to be back on there in 6 to 7 days, but for now, we're going to be doing this on this channel. If you haven't seen the other videos before this, like Virgin Mary's pedigree, why it claims Yahusha's blood unique, Pope Peter the Roman, cloning made simple, stuff like that, that's on the other channel. But we are on Prophet, Priest, and King. And I'm sorry we're working backwards, but I wanted to start with what's going on now in Volume 2 in the world, and then go back to some of the history that ties into what's going on now. Okay, so understanding Yahusha's lineage from Mary, or Miriam, is critical because it explains how he has been the only person who has ever lived that could claim without a doubt to really be a prophet, priest, and king. Descendants of Levi through Aaron had special roles in the temple. Their duties included not only having a priestly status, but divine ability to carry the Ark of the Covenant without being killed. They kept watch over the temple, taught the law of Moses, and had their own covenant with Yahuah. Their special status is still revered today in Orthodox Judaism. This is important because in the near future, rebuilding of the temple will require resumption of Levitical roles to begin sacrifices again. I didn't think we were ever supposed to do sacrifices again. Okay. For a person to assume priestly duties, they must be of Levitical lineage. And for an anti-Mashiach to stop daily sacrifices, he must have some genealogical connection, so keep this in mind. Tribal status in Judaism is genetically based on the real father's genealogy, and not on a stepfather's lineage, although one being given Jewish status based on the mother's lineage, Judaism bases Levitical status on the father. So Yahusha was, it says a Jew here, but he was a Yahudim, with a possible connection to the tribe of the Levites, based on Miriam, his mother's lineage, and also from the tribe of Judah or Yehudah through Mary's father's lineage. Yahusha is considered from the house of Yehudah through both his stepfather, Yosef, and Miriam's father, Heli. Again, in Yahudim tradition, the son always uses the house of his father. Scripture tells in Hebrews 7:14, Yahusha sprang out of Yehudah. But in Hebrews 7:16, 21, and 28, we are told Yahusha became our high priest, or Kohen HaGadol, not after the law of carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life. Yahuah, with an oath, made Yahusha a priest forever. Carnal law made men high priests, but it was the word of Yahuah that came before these laws that made Yahusha a high priest consecrated forevermore. Therefore, when we follow Yahusha, there is no need to seek redemption or sacrifice from any earthly priests. In the Garden of Eden, Yahuah explained the woman's seed would crush the head of the serpent. This means Yahusha would come as the seed or offspring of the woman to save mankind from stopping Satan's power. Yahusha, as Yahuah's son, was a prophet, priest, and king. These titles have never belonged to just one man in all of history. We know King Dawood, or King David, was a king who wore the garments of a priest, and Melchizedek was a priest king, but Yahusha as Messiah is who holds all the titles. He was a prophet who taught through parables. He foretold his death and resurrection. Yahusha even explained Yehukanan, or John, would not die like the rest of the disciples. He told about the days when he would return again and about the end of the age. He fulfilled the role of a prophet. Yahusha is called our priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, and it is the intercessor between Yahuah and man. He was like the Levites teaching in the temple, and like Aaron putting blood upon the altar for the remission of sin, except he used his own blood. Therefore, the priesthood of Yahusha lasts forever, and there is never any need in the future to reinstate the daily sacrifices. Yahusha fulfills the role of a priest. That is why the anti-Messiah will stop daily sacrifices, because when he claims to be Yahusha, returned in the flesh as a clone, the sacrifice is no longer needed, as he is now on earth. Sacrifices are to Yahuah, and if he is walking among man, there is no need for a sacrifice. Neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood he entered in once into the Kodesh place, having obtained eternal redemption for us. Hebrews 9:12. Yahusha is also our eternal King. Scripture proclaims him Adonai of Adonies and King of Kings. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahuah. And the armies which were in Shamayim, or heaven, followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahuah. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Adonai of Adonies. Revelation 19:13-16. To be allowed to sit in the temple and proclaim you are Yahuah, you must possess the ability to be prophet, priest, and king. Kings were from the tribe of Yehudah, or Judah, and high priests were from the tribe of Levi. Only a priest could enter into the Kodesh of Kodeshes, or Holy of Holies. For a person to enter in as only a king is impossible, because they must be a high priest to sit on a throne. In the Kodesh of Kodeshes, or Holy of Holies. As we have already seen, by human standards, this is unattainable. It was a penalty of death if these laws concerning the Holy of Holies, or Kodesh of Kodeshes, were not followed. Even the person who has to lay the blood on the altar or even touch the Ark of the Covenant must be of the priestly lineage in order to not be killed. The Ark of the Covenant was an embodiment of Yahuah's presence with the Yashuralites, or the Israelites. The atonement cover, called the mercy seat, on top of the ark was Yahuah's throne. Yahuah's presence was above it. If someone approached the ark, they would effectively be in Yahuah's presence. A sinner standing before Yahuah, the Creator, who does not tolerate evil, would die instantly as a result of their sins. This is the reason Yahuah instructed Moshe, or Moses, in great detail concerning the role of the Ark of the Covenant. It was to be kept in the most Kodesh place, or holy place, in the temple, hidden from view by a curtain. The high priest was the only person allowed to enter the Kodesh of Kodeshes, or Holy of Holies. He had to undergo ceremonial cleansing, make sacrifices to atone for his sins, as well as the nation's sins, and burn incense to conceal the mercy seat. When the Ark of the Covenant was transported, it was covered with at least 3 layers of cloth by the priest to protect others from seeing it. Levites carried it, and everyone else had to stay 1,000 yards away, or they would be instantly killed. The ark was not a toy and had powers unimaginable. This means any person walking into the temple at the end of the age must also have the necessary genetics from the tribe of Aaron to stand in his presence without being killed. A clone in the image of Yahusha is the best choice to successfully do this. But the clone people are going to think it's Jesus, but it's really the anti-Mashiach in the form of Yahusha, but he's going to look like, it doesn't make sense to me, because Yahusha's blood is on the shroud, correct? Because there was no J-named man in that day. So, the DNA from that shroud should show us Yahusha, right? The blood and the DNA from the shroud. It should be a clone of Yahusha. But people are going to be calling him the J name because most people don't know the real name. Okay, so when the Ark of the... Okay, sorry, hold on. He had to undergo ceremonial cleansing, make sacrifices to atone for his sins, as well as the nation's sins, and burn incense to conceal the mercy seat. When the Ark of the Covenant was transported, it was covered with at least 3 layers of cloth by the priest to protect others from seeing it. Levites carried it, and everyone else had to stay 1,000 yards away, or they would be instantly killed. The Ark was not a toy and had powers unimaginable. This means any person walking into the temple at the end of the age must also have the necessary genetics from the tribe of Aaron to stand in his presence without being killed. A clone in the image of Yahusha is the best choice to successfully do this. He must be able to enter into the Kodeshis, or holiest place in the temple, and sit on the throne as the eternal king and high priest. The anti-Mashiach will do just that because he is emulating what the real Yahusha will actually do when Scripture says he returns at the Battle of Armageddon and destroys the beast parading around in his image. This mocking and anathema of Yahusha by Satan is why the prophet Daniel called it an abomination, which causes desolation. It is one thing to claim to be Yahuah, like many anti-Mashiachs and false prophets have done throughout history. But it is entirely another thing to be claiming you are Yahuah while parading around in his flesh. That act will bring about the wrath of Yahuah, complete desolation upon this planet, and eternal death to all those who have given their allegiance to the beast. The fact that Yahusha's blood is alive is the very reason Vatican officials are demanding every unauthorized blood sample be returned, and has frowned so much on any research that has been published about the blood. It is also the reason the shroud looked a gray color and not red when it went on display in 2010. Every bit of that blood had been totally removed unless the image they showed to the world was a fake or a high-tech reproduction, which some have claimed. The Vatican hierarchy knows Yahusha's divine blood enhances Satan's ability as a clone to unite religions into accepting the anti-Mashiach as Messiah or Mashiach, because he is part Yahuah and part man. A supernatural rebirth with divine blood of the Kodesh or Holy Shroud flowing through his veins, the anti-Mashiach will meet all requirements of ancient prophecy about a beast in an iconic image. He will be a Yahudi, or here it says Jew, born of a virgin, who died on the cross or the stake as evidence from the shroud, was resurrected, and now has returned as Messiah to save the world. Next time we will be reading The Virgin Cult and Fatima as Bait. And then chapter after that I'm a little worried about reading on this channel, so I might wait until next week to do that one. It's Biotechnology, Pursuing Immortality. I don't know. I don't even know how to contact YouTube to even try to see if they would allow me to even read that chapter on this channel. So I'm going to just wait and see. And after this, we will be doing a reading from the BYNB and the Sefer, and another one from the Magisterium. I'm trying to fit everything all in just a few hours. My husband is going to try to stay at work until 4, so I'm hoping I have enough time to take my pups out a few more times and be able to coordinate and do all these videos at the same time. And please pray for my family right now. My husband's been miserable at work, and he said that after today he's going to quit his job. They've been giving him Shabbat off the last 3 weeks, but they did try to text him yesterday evening. I think it was around 5 or 6 in the afternoon, and he really doesn't like working nights, and because they usually have him go in and work at like 5 a.m., but he usually tries to get in for 4 or 4:30, and today he had to work at 8. So he was too tired last night for them to even try to call him in on Shabbat. Is very rude and disrespectful, I would say. But I'm going to sing a short little praise. Torah Rabbah Abba Yahuah. Torah Rabbah Abba Yahuah. Hallelujah. 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 Ruach HaKodesh. I love you all with an everlasting love, as our Abba Yahuah and the Shamayim loves each and every one of us. Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth. And please like, subscribe, and share this channel and Yahuah's beloved daughter, because within a week I will be posting the Eden to Armageddon series to that channel again. I am just taking a small risk here to see if they're going to try to stop me from sharing this information. The other book had a lot more stuff about harp and CERN and like all this other stuff that they really didn't seem to like. But the weird thing is, the video was titled "Disrupting Yah's Frequency," and it was one of the later ones in the book. I was almost finished with the book, and they tried to ban me with the first chapter because it was about harp, CERN, and all this other stuff, and the you know what being possibly being the mark of the beast. Anyways, I love you all so much, and thank you for tuning in. Shalom and blessings.